Okay, welcome, Andrew. Thank you for coming on here today. Andrew Pearce is here with me. He is a human behavioural expert who specialises in stress, burnout, and high performance. So thanks for coming on today, Andrew.
Thanks for having me, Jen.
So I really wanted to do these interviews with business owners like yourself because in the current environment, we are just one of many people that is highly impacted. But besides wanting to keep the business afloat, I'm a true believer of there is another aspect that we need to have a look at, which is our mental space, our emotional space, and how we approach things. So yourself being a human behavioural expert, tell me for your space, why do you consider mindset and the way we approach things mentally so important for business in general?
I think mindset and the way that we approach things for business in general is incredibly important, because the way in which we perceive something is how we will experience it. And we live in accordance with our beliefs, our values, our identities, and of course our unconscious beliefs and values and identities, and they ultimately shape our being, they shape our vibration, they shape our behaviors and our actions, all of which shapes our results. So I think the most powerful point of change is within your mindset, within your beliefs, within your values and your identities. And I think a lot of people, especially business owners who experience that uphill push and struggle and grind, is they have so many conflicting beliefs and values within themselves that they're not aware of, that they're just trying to push against by hustling and working harder and being more mentally disciplined, which can be an overused strength can become a weakness. So having the right mindset, having the right aligned values, seeing yourself as someone who is able to create success and experience success is incredibly valuable in both achieving those results, but enjoying the journey along the way. You can have the results, or you can be on the journey and it's just full of stress and burnout. So at the end of the day, it's like, well, how much fun is that really? So yeah, it's incredibly important.
It's interesting you say enjoying the journey, because as business owners, the journey is so up and down. You can have some really good wins and we can have some quite low lows. But I think, remembering what someone's told me, it's like, it's learning to enjoy the lows, and it's not a loss, but it's an opportunity to grow and relearn.
Yeah.
So it's finding the joy in that as well. But one thing which really interests me in what you say, Andrew, if we believe that, the way we think and those belief systems that we have within us shape our results that we get, do you put importance of mindset in business above strategy, or how do you see things there?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think mindset and action, I think it really depends on the result that someone wants. I think you can have not necessarily the best mindset, but yet you've got mental discipline and you just push on through with action and you can create some results. It's a tough one, they both balance each other out and work so hand in hand that, I think there's plenty of business owners out there. There's plenty of big top CEOs that are producing results, great external results, lots of money, that are lonely, that are feeling unfulfilled, unachieved, not enough. They're stressed out, they're burnt out, they're on the edge. So they've got the external results, but their experience, despite those results, still really isn't the one that they want to be having. That's where of course, the mindset comes in. So it's a tough question, because you can have the results even without doing personal development. There's some people that are just good at business. They've solved the game or the challenge of marketing and sales and making money, and don't really necessarily know much about the world of personal development.
But as you said, they might experience the burnout and the overwhelm. So would you say then, like, having that, working on the mindset and the beliefs incongruent with the strategies and executing those strategies, you're able to achieve a more balanced result?
Yeah, totally. If you want to be feeling fulfilled and not stressed out and burnt out and really having a quality experience, then 100% mindset, personal development work is so incredibly valuable. The results aren't going to do it for you. And the world has shown us that time and time again with successful people, movie stars, rock stars, and so on, that have taken their own life because, like, even with everything externally, they still haven't been happy. In fact, they've been depressed. So the two together are a balance. I don't think they're required for each other, but I think I think it's all about the experience at the end of the day, and the mindset helps you to give yourself the experience that you want.
Yeah, and I suppose that's the difference, is the experience that you want. I know I find this in my business, that a lot of people, when they first come to me, don't know how they want to experience their experience.
Yeah.
They know they want the results, but they don't know what that experience even looks like when they get there, or the journey to it.
Yes.
So I suppose doing that personal development work helps shape all that.
Yeah.
So it's closing that cognitive dissonance, I guess.
Yes, totally.
So with you then, how do you keep a good mindset in business?
I keep a good mindset in business by valuing it. I had a conversation with a client the other day, and they're like, how do I set aside the time to do the work and commit to it more? I said, you value it. Right now, as a business owner, you're valuing, results-based actions. You're valuing taking action and doing stuff, doing work. You're valuing that more than sitting in your feelings and exploring them and your mindset for an hour, because it feels like that's more productive, that you're getting more done. And so often writing a post on Facebook or having some phone calls or sorting out your back end or your systems or whatever it is, can feel more productive. You can feel emotionally safer in those actions, and they're valued more. And I said, you will put the time aside and get it done when you value it enough. So for me, I really value internal work. I really value personal development and personal growth. So the time's set aside and I do the work. And when she asked me that question and I answered it in that way, that was the first time I'd answered that question in that way. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's now my answer for that question.
Love it.
Yeah.
Personal insight as well.
Yeah. So the way that I do it is by valuing it.
Right. I love that. Yeah. Because we put time to what we value.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. So when you say you do the personal development work, can you, for our audience, bring that down to a more simple level? What do you mean by you doing it? What do you do?
Yeah, great. So sometimes it's meditation, and I will meditate purely to let go of as much as I can and just fully rest and experience the peace and the stillness and the freedom that meditation can give. Other times I'll meditate with more of an intention to really observe my thoughts and feelings from a place of wanting to learn. Other times I will meditate with an intention of diving into an uncomfortable feeling and facing it and collapsing it and letting go of it. Other times I will journal based on either a feeling that's in my body or some thoughts that are going within my mind, some results that I'm getting that I don't want, some results that I'm not getting that I do want. So yeah, meditation, journaling, all the kind of tools and techniques that I've got under my belt. But they're the main two that I would use probably, is meditation, different types with different intentions, and then journaling.
I was going to say, because meditation for you is not necessarily just a quiet space like some of us have learned to, be more aware of. It's more different visualization techniques, I guess you could call them, that helps you deep dive into certain thoughts and feelings and behaviors.
Yes.
Beautiful. I love that. So how can you give us some examples of how some of these things for you have helped you gain external results?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's been times where, when was one actually? A great example, the first one that's coming to my mind was back in 2017, when I was probably doing about 2.5 a week at the time. I can't remember the exact time frame, but either way, what happened was I came across the belief that I need to work hard for money, and that how difficult the work was in terms of emotional difficulty, emotional stress and pressure, and the amount of time in is what equated to money received. And that was my blueprint, that was my belief system, that's what I lived by, and then that's the results that I got in relation to that set of beliefs. And when I realized that, and I'm like, okay, well, that's the connection that I'm making, and it's not necessarily true. So then I changed it to value equals money. And I've learned stuff about that, and I'm like, that makes sense to me. If you give value, then
okay, go on.
Yeah, so if you give value, so you receive money. And then based on that, I was like, all right, well, I can give value easily and effortlessly. I can do a live stream on my page, and if someone really watches it and then implements based on what I've shared, they can get value in their life, and I can do a live stream for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And there can be something in there that could help someone make thousands of dollars. So I'm like, all right, great. I can value equals money rather than hard work and time in order to receive money. Value equals money, and I can give value easily and effortlessly, which then began to support the belief that I can make money easily and effortlessly. And then within that next week, I made twice as much of what I was making at the time whilst working 20 hours less that week, because I changed my belief and blueprint. And there's a beautiful, beautiful quote that I love from Conversations with God that says, life is exactly what you think it is, which I love so much, because it's like, hold on, you're telling me that life is exactly what I think it is. And it's that way, not necessarily because it's that way, but because I think it's that way. I love that, because I get excited about how much control and power and influence I have over my entire experience and results. So yeah, that's an example of how doing the inner work supported external results.
So tell me, Andrew, when we are all in the times that what we're in now, and we're facing probably more stress and pressure in business than any other time in history, or in our history as we've known it, what is your biggest go-to to help you stay centered, stability, to help you execute, to basically help you keep your business afloat?
Yeah, my beliefs that like I'm gonna survive is really the belief that is most supportive. And even if business were to collapse, I'm still gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna survive. And the thing is, for someone listening to this right now, they might be like, oh, okay, great advice. But to add to it is, for some, business collapsing feels like an emotional death, because so much of our self-worth, our self-value, and our identity and who we are is tied up in being a business owner with this level of results and success, et cetera, et cetera. So there is an emotional vulnerability and feeling of being unsafe with, like, all right, you've lost all of that. Who are you then? And that can feel like a death. It can feel incredibly scary, and it can feel like I won't survive and I won't be okay.
Yes.
So for me, just being like, you know what, not logically saying, yes, logically I get that I will be okay. I also emotionally feel that I will be okay. And that's the kicker. Like, that is the kicker here. Logic is great, but it's not the whole thing. We're logical and we're emotional beings, but logic is great, but it's just not the whole thing. And,
it's
you
kind
can tell
of going with that
yourself,
strategy and the mindset thing. It's like they're two pieces, and you can't have
exactly.
one really balanced without the other.
Exactly. You need the two. And if you tell yourself logically that you're going to be okay, but you don't feel emotionally that you're going to be okay, you don't feel emotionally safe and secure, then the logic in those moments is pointless, and it's just a fight. It's just a battle. So
it's almost like overridden by the emotion, yeah?
Totally overridden by the emotion. Totally overridden by the emotion. Yeah. So in these times, the way that I'm dealing about it is I emotionally know that I will be okay, I will survive, and I will handle whatever happens. And I truly feel that. So I'm just not worrying or panicking, or having to be up in my head going, it's okay, everything's going to be okay, trying to figure everything out, because I'm all good emotionally.
Yeah. So tell me, in these times and in business in general, how do you value, using your words, having a mentor or that connection on that level?
Having a mentor?
Yeah. Or even friends or close other business owners to connect with on that level.
It's incredibly valuable. We connect and support each other a lot, which is fantastic. I've got a group with another 2 coaches. So there's the 3 of us and we share. I've got a group with another 3 coaches. There's the 4 of us and we share. And in fact, I just put a post in one of the groups this morning. And it's so valuable to have. And there's such appreciation that gets thrown out, between you and I, and between the group that I've got, the groups that I have as well. Because you can just be vulnerable, get some stuff off your chest to people who are on the journey of the personal growth with you, who understand you, who understand human behavior, and can give more than, don't worry about it, or this will be okay, or yada, yada, yada. Like, you can,
Or the one that I get is, you've got the tools, you'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly. So like this other group, it's myself included, there's 4 fucking high quality coaches in there. So you can just dump something in and get high quality coaching from 3 other coaches. It's it's incredibly valuable. It's just nice to know and feel emotionally that support is there and can be easily accessed.
And I guess as well, because we are so emotionally invested in ourselves in our own way, sometimes it's hard to see the sunshine through the clouds, I guess.
100%.
So to see that different perspective, that's just going to help us that little bit further along our journey.
Yes, agreed.
Beautiful. So tell me, to finish off today, Andrew, if there's 3 tips you can give our listeners on how to get through these times. I know you've mentioned a few already. What are the 3 top ones?
3 top ones. First one is to understand that what's happening in our external world right now isn't making you anxious, but it's triggering the internal thoughts, beliefs, and emotional wounds that are then creating your internal experience of anxiety. So have a think about, what are you telling yourself in relation to what's happening in the world right now? If you're telling yourself, oh my God, this is fucked and I'm not going to be okay, then that way of thinking is going to create stress and anxiety and panic. What beliefs about yourself is this triggering? If it's triggering, you're a business owner, it's triggering, I'm not smart enough to innovate and still succeed in these times. Then if you're telling yourself that, that's going to have an emotional response in your body. So the first thing is to not externalize how you're feeling to what's happening, and instead get curious as to what is being triggered, what thoughts, beliefs, internal wounds and insecurities and doubts within yourself are being triggered by your external world. So that's number 1. Number 2 is to then address those beliefs, look at those internal triggers, feel what is coming up for you. And when I say that, to feel and fully emotionally feel something, is, you know, often an emotion comes up and then we just push it back down because we're afraid that it's going to stick around forever, that it's actually the truth of who we are. And it's just, and then that feeling brings more anxiety and panic on top of it. But that's not true of who you are. It's not real. And the energies we fight, we feed. If you feel an emotion fully, it will collapse. It will dissolve. It will leave your body. That frequency will drop away from your vibration, and you'll feel better on the other side. So really feel your emotions fully. And number 3 would also be to bring in the logic as well. Both emotion and logic 100% have their place. To look at things logically, and feelings aren't facts, although they feel very real and very factual. Feelings aren't facts. Look at things logically, break things down logically, and then look at the logic and go, you know what? I'm going to survive. So when the feeling of I don't feel safe, I don't feel secure, I'm not going to survive comes up, feel it fully, but don't believe it, because the logic suggests otherwise. The logic suggests you're going to be okay. And this is where logic supports you in fully feeling your emotion, but not being scared and afraid of it and buying into it. Is like, I'm going to hold on to and feel secure within the truth of the logic whilst I dive into the depths of my feeling and emotion right now. And that's the play that they have to support each other.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that the first 2 tips you have are very, we're just going to call them personal development orientated, because I think when we are squeezed in a time like we are now, we are so, I did a post the other day on LinkedIn, which talks about exercise and how we're thrown out of our normal exercise routine. And anyone that follows me know that I have always harped on about how exercise suppresses our emotions. So when we are squeezed and we're thrown out of not just our exercise regime, but our whole natural regime as we've known, it does bring up those uncomfortable thoughts and feelings. And now is the perfect time to grow through this time. And what happens when this is all over is there's a brand new you, ready to face times when it's all rosy and when it's all good. So you can not only survive like you did before, but we can totally thrive even more.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Love it.
Beautiful. Love it. Thanks, Andrew. I really, really love having you on today. Always love chatting about this stuff. You know I do. So for our listeners, where can we find you so we can hear more of your wisdom day to day today, these days?
You can find me at www.andrewdpearce.com. And from there you can... Don't forget the D. And from there you can... I didn't want it to be that. I wanted to just be andrewpearce.com, and it's been causing me troubles, but someone already had it. So www.andrewdpearce.com, and from there there's a bunch of stuff that you can download for free. There's a bunch of free content on there. You can access all my social links. You can send me an email. So that's the place to go.